Alright, so a few rules. One, no complex modeling too much. We stick to some basic shapes. So in this case I'm going to make a cube, and we're going to make it like that. 6 on the keyboard. Now I'm going to assume that you have some modeling skills behind you, because if you're in a world building class you should have already had modeling 1. But there's some things where you probably have forgotten. So I'm just going to kind of keep monotoning what I'm doing out. It's just one of those things. Alright, so in the picture here, I'm looking at a chunk. I'm looking at it as an imaginary chunk that's right here, and we're going to flesh out that chunk. Okay, insert edge loops. Just like that. And I'm going to get rid of this face here. Okay, highlight the structure. I'm going to be using the bridge command a lot, so I go into bridge, hit the square box, and make sure the bridge is on 0 subdivisions, and I save that setting. Okay, undo that because I don't want to bridge those two. I'd rather bridge these two. So bridge, and I'm using the menu a lot because that way students know where the menu's at and where things are at in there. It's up to you to find hotkeys. Generally I don't like teaching the hotkeys too much to students. I let them discover what those are. Okay, so there we go. That's nice. What now I have to do is kind of work out a window system for it, and to begin with I need a pane. Well, I already have this, so the best thing I could do probably is duplicate this face. So you'll see me duplicate faces a lot. So I'll duplicate this face, I'll move it out just a skosh with the blue arrow, and then down with the green, and that way it's in front. But it's the same size as that structure, so I don't have to go out and make a new pane every time. I'm always just duplicating a face, saving some time there. Okay, so right about here is where that window starts and stops, and again I'm looking at the top pane here. Okay, there's 2, and you can look at it. These 2 windows are separate from these 2 panes of glass here. So I'm going to treat it just like that. Okay, wireframe on shading is really handy, and constantly be doing this. Edit, delete by type history, especially if you have a slow computer. Okay, I jumped into the front view because that way I can work a little easier. So insert some edge loops there. And if you hit 4 on the keyboard, you can see this a little bit better. Okay, just insert some edges, making this window. There we go. Now I'll just move these vertices up. Now before I do that, wouldn't it be easy if I just went like this, Shift D while I have this one in place, and go like that? That way I have a copy of it. That way if I need to make another window system, I have it down here. Because this one's a little unique. This one goes up like that, where this one stays down. So you have to think of that. I want these a little bit thicker on the side. I like over exaggerating things a little bit. And maybe the over exaggeration of the thickness here. Alright, there we go. Let's jump into perspective and hit 6. And I have this. So in this case, I need these panes of glass. They're going to come in handy later. So I'll duplicate them, pull them out, and then I also need the frame. So I'm going to delete these and duplicate or extrude this one to give it thickness. It's important to give things thickness because that way it has double-sided normals. And we want this to be a good interior and exterior window. Okay, I like these windows. I'm going to make sure I combine them so I can always scale them together and modify center pivot them so I could just kind of go like this. Good. Okay, next window. See, that was fast. That was like 5 minutes. Okay, again, I need this glass. So I'll duplicate these faces. Out. Go like this. Delete those. Duplicate this one more time. Jump into my front view. Hit 4. Line these up as close as I can get them and join them together. By combining them, grab all the vertices here and merge them. Jump back into perspective, hit 6 on the keyboard, and then I can add thickness to this model. Just like this. Alright, so now I should have these panes of glass where I modify center pivot them, move them back into position, Shift D to duplicate them, and now I have that entire window built. Okay, it's going to be a little tall, but that's okay. What I did is I combined all these together, and again I'm going to combine all these together. I can always separate them later. That just makes it so I can resize them very quickly. Okay, again I modify center pivot, edit delete by type history, and I'll move that here into position. I'll move this up into position and then out a little bit, and now I know exactly what my frame should be, so I can start thinking about the scale of this. So now at any one time, if I need to, let's say, resize the entire structure, I can resize it by grouping it, and now I can just bring it together, and there I go. I got a nice start. Alright, now that I've gotten this far, in the next video we're going to just detail it out a little further, and I'll show you a couple more pieces that I would develop for this chunk.